5.
Patricia Austrian's 4-year-old son, Edward Austrian, had a phobia of drizzly, grey days. Then he developed a problem with his throat and started to complain of severe pain. When he had a sore throat, he said that his shot was hurting. Edward told his mother very detailed stories about his previous life in the trenches in what was apparently World War I. He told her that he had been shot in the throat and killed. At first, doctors could not find a cause for his sore throat and removed his tonsils as a precautionary measure. A cyst developed in his throat and doctors didn't know how to treat it. As soon as Edward was prompted to tell his parents and others more about his previous life and talk about how he was killed, the cyst disappeared. Edward's doctor never found out why the cyst had vanished.
4.
At a very young age, James Leninger started to remember his life as a Navy fighter pilot. James Leninger was born to Andrea and Bruce Leninger, a highly educated couple. From a young age, James loved to play with planes. Aged just 2 years old, James began having nightmares about planes. He would suddenly wake up screaming out, "Airplane crash! On fire! Little man can't get out!" Once, his mother Andrea bought him a toy plane and pointed out what appeared to be a bomb on its underside. She says James corrected her and told her it was a drop tank. "I'd never heard of a drop tank before," she said. "I didn't know what a drop tank was." Andrea's mother suggested that James probably was remembering his past life. The couple took him to a counsellor and therapist named Carol Bowman, who believed that the dead sometimes can be reborn. With guidance from Bowman, they began to encourage James to share his memories. James was able to share more details about his past life with his parents, such as the name of the pilot, James M. Houston Jr., the Navy ship on which he served, the Natoma, his co-pilot's name, and the fact that it was shot down in Iwo Jima. Bruce was able to track down the co-pilot Jack Larson and Houston's living sister. James told them many things from his past life, which no one would ever know. There was no reason then for his family and Houston's sister not to believe him. They believed that James Leninger had a past life, Lieutenant James Houston Jr., a man who died in Iwo Jima in 1945, and he had come back to finish something.
3.
Shanti Devai was born in 1926 in Delhi, India. At around the age of 4 years old, this little girl started remembering her past life. She began telling her parents that this was not her real home. She told them that she had a husband and a son in Mathura, and she wanted to go to them. Her parents were in absolute shock. Shanti Devai told her school teachers the same thing. One of the teachers then wrote a letter on the address given by Shanti Devai to inquire about the same. To everyone's surprise, they got a reply from Shanti Devai's previous husband, saying that his young wife, Lugdi Devai, had passed away a few years ago after giving birth to their son. The details that Shanti Devai gave were all true. The case was then brought to the attention of Mahatma Gandhi, who set up a commission for investigation. Shanti Devai took the researchers to her previous home and gave them the exact description of how her house and neighbourhood looked before. She recognised her husband, Kudanaf, her sister and son. She told him details of their married life, which made Kudanaf believe that she was indeed Lugdi Devai, born again. Shanti Devai also recognised her family members. She gave correct information about her family members which no one outside the family would have ever known. The Commission's report stated that Shanti Devai was the reincarnation of Lugdi Devai.
2.
Gus Taylor was 18 months old when he started to say that he was his own grandfather. Young children can be confused about their own identity and those of their family members, but this was different. His grandfather had died a year before Gus was even born, and this boy totally believed they were the same people. When shown some family photographs, Gus identified Grandpa Orgy when he was 4 years old. There was a family secret that nobody had ever spoken about in front of or around Gus. Orgy's sister had been murdered and dumped in the San Francisco Bay. The family were perplexed when the 4-year-old child started to talk about his dead sister. According to Gus, God gave him a ticket after he died. With this ticket, he was able to travel through a hole, after which he came back to life as Gus.
1.
Cameron Macaulay was born in Glasgow, Scotland. Since the age of 2, he told his mother he was from an island called Barra, off the west coast of Scotland. He talked about a white house and a beach on which planes landed. He had a black and white dog, and his dad's name was Shane Robertson, and he was killed by a car. He drew the white house by the beach and complained of missing his other mother. As the child got more and more upset about missing Barra, his mother took him on a visit to the island, which was an hour-long flight away. The plane landed on the beach. The family found a white house owned by the Robertsons, and the black and white dog was in one of their family photographs, along with a car that Cameron had remembered. However, nobody recalled Shane. Surprisingly, Cameron knew his way around the White House and was able to point out all its peculiarities. As he grew older, Cameron slowly lost his memories, but he is still convinced that death is not the end. Like Gus Taylor, he stated that he ended up in his mother's tummy after he fell through a hole. The story was picked up by British television, making the Barra case one of the best documented reincarnation stories. Do you believe that you've ever been reincarnated?